How we doing out there, guys? Here we are at our ninth or eighth week, I should say, of the term. So this week we are drafting or really doing some pre-writing for our next essay, which is our argumentative/persuasive essay. So the argumentative essay is going to be worth 20% of your total grade. Descriptive is going to be 20%, narrative is 15%. And then the research enhanced version of that argumentative essay is 30%. That's the major paper, the research paper. So that's 30, 50, 70, and 85. And then the other 15%, of course, comes from your class homework contributions on a weekly basis. Ongoing reminder, as we say every week in the announcement, the posted announcement, that you must submit your work on time and in the appropriate place in Blackboard. Of course, that goes for the remaining second half of the term as well. We're about midway through the term after this week. So this is really the heartbeat of the term, I would say, of our class, argumentative, persuasive mode of discourse. I mean, when you think about it, we are sort of awash in argument all the time. It's omnipresent, ubiquitous. Arguments are being made in advertising, in any conversation that we have really is a implicit pitch to, hey, listen to me. I'm talking to you. I'm trying to persuade you that I am worth listening to. You might be so bold as to say that everything is an argument, or points are trying to be made and substantiated left and right. Of course, we see that in our socio-political discourse, presidential race within the next year. That's all heating up. Our politics, left versus right, libertarian versus authoritarian. People have ideas, and we're hashing them out in the marketplace of ideas. Surely you have opinions and argumentative stances as well. And you're going to get a chance to show those, or one of those, I should say, for your next paper due next week. I think I've had one student come to me via email about verifying a topic. So, it's not necessarily required that you do that, but it does behoove you to check with me about your topic. Mostly because, for one, couple things. For one, you want to make sure, or you want to try your best to kind of stay away from the more cliched arguments that we've all maybe heard, time after time. Of course, they're always cropping up in politics and culture today. But, abortion, gay marriage, marijuana legalization, lower the drinking age, even should college athletes be paid? That's one that, I've read time after time. I don't mean to discourage anybody from any of those topics. If you think you have a really, strong point and you feel really passionately, if you are passionately pro-choice or pro-life and you want to argue the abortion debate, just let me know, and chances are I'll approve it. I'm just trying to maybe push us to think about other things. You might think of it more in a local setting, like maybe you want to argue that your town needs a new library or an additional library. Or maybe you want to argue that the new Buc-ee's gas station that they plan to put in your neck of the woods should not be put in. Or maybe you want to argue that senior citizens over the age of 75 should not be allowed to drive. That's kind of an original one. I haven't read too many of those. It could be a great variety of things. And like we said, you could do one of the more tried and true ones, but I am going to kind of encourage you guys to maybe think of something new. Here's a good one. And I feel pretty passionately about this too. We need more hands-on, like workshop, shop classes in high school, maybe even in middle school. Of course, you don't want to trust my 11, 12, and 13-year-olds I teach with buzz saws and 2x4s and nails, um, but that'd be a good topic. Like, we need more hands-on, kind of trade-oriented uh, fields or subjects in schools. Or maybe here's a good argument too. Every school should have, or every high school should have a required economics course, or every school should have a greater focus on the arts, or less of a focus on the arts. Arts being, writing, visual art, performing arts, music, etc. So the world is kind of your oyster in terms of what topic you want. I would like to know what you're thinking, though. That way you and I can chat via email and kind of, hammer it down, whittle it down, and help you pursue the best course. If you guys want to look at some research material, this paper is not a research paper, but it will become a research enhanced version. If you look in your Blackboard homepage, you should see the GNTC Library Services Galileo. That's the Georgia College Systems aggregator of all the different academic journal databases that are out there. So, you'll find writings, articles from academic experts in the field, professionals who have devoted their professional lives toward pursuing, these particular disciplines: sociology, criminology, biology, sociology, psychology, all the ologies. Experts in the field. And that's what you were going to want to use for your research essay in a few weeks' time. So just a little background on argument persuasion and what's coming up in the future, a research enhanced version of that paper. Our essay is going to be due next week, next Sunday, the 15th. So what about this week? What to do this week? So this week we have exercises in our successful college composition, the textbook it is called. Chapter 3, Modes of Discourse, Part 9, Argument and Persuasion, exercises 24 through 26. Exercise 24 asks you to look at the topics that they have listed and to write a thesis statement. So a thesis statement is an argumentative statement that states the writer's position or the writer's sense of truth on that position. For example, if I don't have the list in front of me, but if the topic is, let's say, diet and nutrition, a thesis statement could be schools, K through 12 schools should provide more fruits and vegetables in the cafeteria because it is known that foods high in saturated fat, sodium, and sugar lead to debilitating health effects in the long term or in the near term. So a thesis is you're taking your topic and you are advancing some kind of a argumentative position on it. And it's one sentence. A thesis statement is a statement, not a question, but a statement. So it ends in a period, a declarative sentence. And you don't need to say I think or in my opinion. In fact, in this next essay, we want to eliminate references to first-person pronouns: I, me, our, my, mine, we, etc. So if you look in SEC in that area 3.9, it'll give you the breakdown of the structure of an argumentative essay and the importance of not using I to make it a more objective tone and approach. So I would look at that this week. Certainly you'll want to look at it next week when you write your essay. So 24 is that thesis statement, and then 25, I believe, is offering some sort of substantiating evidence or supporting details to your thesis, like you're kind of backing up your thesis basically with supporting details. And then exercise 26 asks you to list a counter argument to each of your thesis statements, which is good practice because if you feel passionately about something, you should be able to countenance the opposition to that point as well. That way you're kind of getting out of your bubble and you're seeing things from the opposition's point of view. Probably something missing today. We tend to think that, our opinion is the right opinion and the hell with everyone else. Well, exercise 26 kind of gets you to step outside of yourself, your bubble, and maybe think about things from, the other side and understand that theirs is a matter of opinion too, and perhaps it's just as legitimate, depending on the topic, as yours is. So I think that's pretty useful, that exercise 26 there. So 24 thesis, 25 offering support, and 26 offering counter arguments to your original thesis for each of those listed topics. And then the other thing is a journal. Now, journals, like all of our engagement exercises, are due on the Friday. Journal this week asks you to just kind of think about argumentation and persuasion in our culture, maybe in your individual lives with your friends, family, peers, coworkers, colleagues, random interlocutors you meet on the street or at the grocery store. How do we argue today? How would you assess the way that we argue? What's the point of arguing? Do you think that we argue to get someone to see things from our side? Do we argue just to kind of beat our chest and to rah, 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 let off some steam and, kind of get our adrenaline pumped up and let it all out? Do we listen to people who argue their positions to us? I will tell you right now, I am a stubborn SOB. All right, when I'm in an argument with someone, I'm kind of out to own them. It's not really the best trait. I am also a good listener. I will give myself some credit. But how do you feel personally? Are you a good listener when someone brings something you might not agree with, that oppositional idea to you? Do you listen to them? Are you just concerned with swatting them away and giving them your side of things and owning them, so to speak? So the journal kind of asks you to think about how we argue. Of course, you could bring in, online discourse as well. Twitter, I will never call it X. It's such a stupid name. No shade against Elon necessarily, but such a dumb name for Twitter. Now you know where I stand on the Twitter rebrand, at least the naming of it. But Twitter or Facebook, which your grandparents or parents use, you kids probably don't use Facebook, I wouldn't imagine. I don't know, TikTok, I guess you could argue on TikTok. The myriad other online venues that we use to, state our claim and champion our cause. How would you assess argument in the online space? For what it's worth, I would say that we're kind of emboldened online because we don't have to deal with people face to face. We could kind of let our freak flag fly, so to speak, and just let her rip, knowing that we might be protected via anonymity, a screen name, no physical retribution because we're arguing online. So yeah, that's an interesting wrinkle that's kind of warping our discourse, I would say, the online world. So that journal is due Friday the 6th, and then the SEC exercises are due Sunday the 8th. Get with me this week, if you think of it, to go over an argumentative topic for your essay due next Sunday the 15th. And it's recommended that you go into Galileo, maybe plug in the topic you are thinking of, and see if you could find any academic journal articles related to your topic, because, again, this essay is going to be research enhanced in a few weeks' time. All right, I'll be getting those descriptive essays back to you this week. Might not finish them all this week. I will be out of town in Seattle later this week and into the weekend. So I appreciate your patience, but the papers will be coming back to you at least starting this week. All right, hope you all have a great, productive week. Good to talk to you, check in with you again. Look forward to doing it again in a couple weeks. See you then.